Okay, well, welcome again to Wednesday Live with Evie. This is number 30. This is part 2, so I'm not going to go back and redo the video just because we are 20 minutes in, so I don't want to restart it. However, if you want to head over I'll put the link below later. The link to part 1 will be over there. So if somebody can tell me what the last thing was that you heard, then I know where to start up again. Yes, Jerry Ann, flexibility is needed for Facebook Live. Yeah, exactly. It's like, okay, things didn't work out quite the way I expected them to. I expected it to record all the way through, and it didn't. So we're going to roll with it because that's what you do, right? Opportunities abound when you have a business to walk your talk, right? So, well, I'll just take a educated guess about where I got cut off here. And I'll just go over the questions to ask yourself. Here I am, Ellen. Being intentional about newsletters. But you hit the wall. Okay. Was I talking, let's see, I talked about so did you hear with the newsletters about the soft and the hard deadlines? I'm trying to figure out how far through me talking about the newsletter I was. Well, yes, the deadlines. All right, so let's see. Yes, the soft deadlines don't work for me. I need hard deadlines, and when you know that about yourself, that can really be helpful with knowing how you work. So, going back to the being flexible is the things to look for here is where might you be getting hung up on how you think you should be doing it. So like me with the newsletter, I think I should be doing it this way, even though that's not really the way that it worked for me. But I was so hung up with that's the way I thought it should be. So where do you find yourself, getting stuck or being frustrated because you think this is the way you should be doing something? Or where do you find yourself being frustrated with something because, well, this is the way that I've always done it. And you're just noticing maybe it doesn't work for you, but it's the way you've always done it. So it doesn't occur to you to change. So this is your little poke to say, hey, just because you've always done it that way doesn't mean you need to continue to do it that way. Take a step back and look at what else is available. Is there another way to do it? So if you're looking at the bikers, when they saw that caution tape, they could have taken a step back and kind of looked around and said, okay, is there another way to achieve the outcome that we want? So if the outcome was to continue on that path on the east side of the river, then they might have pulled out their phones and looked at the map and noticed, oh, if we just continue down the sidewalk for a couple of 100 feet and go through this parking lot, we can still connect up with the path. And then they could have safely found out whether that path was open or not, versus, taking their bikes through some water that, that's just not safe. Or if their intention was, we're going to have a fun bike ride, and they would have just taken a step back and said, you know what, this path is closed, let's just take this other path, and it would have been fine. So just know what the outcome is you want, and take a look at what are some of the other options available to you. So the other thing to think about there is sometimes we get really wrapped up or attached to a specific goal, and the way that it's going to happen, like the bikers, we're going to take this path and this is the way that we're going to get it. And sometimes we don't notice that there's maybe another opportunity that's available to us that will get us to that same goal, but maybe in a way that we didn't expect. So maybe there's an opportunity that presents itself that, you know, you want to say yes to, but you don't see how it's going to work with the things that you expect to be doing toward the goal. But if you take a step back, you can say, you know what, this is an opportunity I want to say yes to. So what can I rearrange over here? Or we get so tied to a goal or an intention of how many clients we want or how much money we want to make, that when something doesn't work, we get so frustrated and so upset that either we want to toss everything, or we're like, I'm going to work twice as hard, instead of saying, okay, let's take a step back. Let's look at what worked and what didn't work, and maybe let's adjust the goal. Goals aren't set in stone. So I think sometimes we get so attached to a specific outcome that when something's not working, rather than adjusting the goal to something that works for us, we just try to, you know, hit it even harder, and it doesn't work. So just notice when you're doing that. Notice when you are so in the tunnel vision of getting to a goal or getting to an intention that you set, that you're missing some of the other opportunities or some of the other paths to get to that goal. That can be difficult, but when you have some support, when you have other people that are outside of your fishbowl to help you along, sometimes they can point things out to you that you might be missing. All right, what was the other thing I was going to say here? Being flexible with Facebook Live threw me just a little bit with my script. So let's see. I think I've hit everything. So the only, let's see, Mary says something here. A couple of people. Yeah, Mary, so there's institutions are interesting. Mary was talking about our church that is undergoing a building project that's been talked about for 20 plus years and then was decided on 10 years ago, but only now is actually moving forward. Institutions can take this advice. Generally, though, as entrepreneurs, it's a lot easier for us to change directions than an institution that, or an organization that has hundreds of people or even tens of people involved in it. So, and there's a lot of differences, I guess, is my point. There's still the same things to watch out for, but the rate of change when you are a business working for yourself can be a lot faster than if you are part of a larger organization. For our purposes as entrepreneurs, it's more about noticing for yourself what's working and what's not working and being able to pivot. Okay, there's a brick wall here. You know, do I want to try to, well, yes, absolutely, an individual can get stuck. That's what I'm talking about. But, you know, as an individual, as an entrepreneur, when you hit the brick wall, what's your approach? Are you hitting the brick wall with a sledgehammer? Because that's a lot of work to sledgehammer yourself a door. Or are you looking for the other options that are available for you? Yeah, so it's looking at, you know, what's working for you and what's not. And deciding that the brick wall can stay there and you can find another way around it. So it's, again, about taking that step back, which can be so difficult. So it's about noticing when you're so set on a goal, noticing when you're doing something because that's just the way you've always done it, noticing when you find yourself doing something because you think that's the way you should be doing it versus the way that it actually works for you. So one of the things that I think sometimes in the productivity world we can get so hung up on is, you know, what's the app that you're using, or what's the thing that you're doing, you know, with your technology to make this work better. And a lot of times those are distractions. You know, the app or the program or the fill in the blank that's going to make everything work great for you, those are distractions. But you need to be flexible because you need to still figure out what's working for you. I'm going a little bit all over the place here, but anyway. So with being flexible with your expectations, sometimes one of the things that is the most helpful here is having somebody who's not in your fishbowl look at your situation or the things that you are going through and offering other ideas or other suggestions or just other points of view. So when we're in our own fishbowl swimming around, we don't get a full view of the situation because we are in it. But when there's other people around that can see the entire fishbowl and can help you with it, that can give you a whole different perspective. So that's one of the things that masterminding can really help you with, is there's other people who know you, who know your business, but they're not in your business. So they can give you different ideas, different thoughts of ways to do things that maybe you wouldn't have come up with on your own. And that's kind of the magic of being in a mastermind. So if that's something, if you find yourself, you know, with a bunch of brick walls that you're trying to figure out your way around, or with goals that you're super tied to and you're not sure how you're going to achieve them or even how to maybe adjust them to yourself, you know, let's talk about the mastermind and see if maybe that's something that's a good fit for you. So reach out to me and let me know that you want a phone call, and we can get that taken care of here in the next couple of days or early next week. So any questions? So we have covered a lot and I've rambled a little bit, but any questions that anybody has about being flexible with your expectations? If I really get to the core of it, it is just about noticing where you're making things harder for yourself and being able to take a step back. And it's super easy to do, but it can be, or super easy to say, but it can be really hard to do. So any questions? I'm going to give it a little bit here because I know that there's just a little bit of a lag here between me asking the question, if there's questions, and any questions actually being typed. So let's see if I missed anything when I went off script there. Nope. I think I got everything there. Oh, thank you, Mary. Mary's biased, though, in a good way. All right, so last question then is, how do you see yourself working with this in your business? Type it below. I'm going to wrap this up here because we have gone at a half hour between the two parts of the video. So if you're only seeing this part, there is a first part that I will post a link to after we wrap up. And I will be back next week with another Wednesday Live with Evie. And two things to leave you here with. One is, if there's ever a topic that you'd like to see covered, let me know. I take suggestions. And two, if you want to find out more about the mastermind, let me know. I'm happy to chat with you about it. And three, have a fabulous, fabulous rest of your week, and I will see you back here on Monday, and I will see you in your inbox if you're subscribed to the newsletter on Monday. Have a great day. Bye.